May you live as long as you want, and never want as long as you live. Guess Who is a Tubi original directed by Amelia Moses. I don't know why I decided to say it like that. She did Bloodthirsty and other projects. Check out our IMDb page for the full list of her work. And this was written by 3 different people. That's right, it took 3 people to write the plot and the story and the great deep narrative for the characters for Guess Who. Yeah, 2 of the writers did the Tubi original version of Terror Train and Terror Train 2 Electric. How the hell did we do a second one? Boogaloo. And also Marry, Fuck, Kill. That was an actual movie that came out last year, and it was shit. It was really goddamn shit. But hey, writing shit movies can actually get you good paychecks, so good for everybody involved. Nevertheless, let's see what this movie has as far as a cast. Who is starring in this movie? I have my doubts that this movie is starring anyone. Actually, that's unfair because everybody certainly tries. I'm not sure what they were trying to do, but am I tipping my hand as to how I felt about Guess Who? So you have Kia King as Caitlin, and you have Cordian Moore as Michael. And they are a couple. Michael is taking Caitlin to meet his family. And he hasn't really told her much about his family. He's kind of a little bit secretive. But he doesn't exactly come from much. She comes from a rich family. No. She's a rich girl. Kind of butchered that whole thing right there. Sorry, Gwen Stefani. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Like Gwen Stefani would know who the fuck I was if I walked in front of her bus. Let's get back to Guess Who. So... yeah, Michael introduces Caitlin to the family, and the mother is all nice, including Edith. Edith was supposed to be incognito, played by Elizabeth Saunders, who's been in some good stuff. Not this, but she's been in some good stuff before. She was in It. You can actually figure out who the fuck she was from It. And everything seems nice. So, there's going to be this holiday tradition taking place at this trailer park, and it's called Mummers Night. Not Samantha Mumba, not, Mummers Dance. That's really deep cutting for any of the song fans out there. Mummers Dance, who sung that? Tell me in the comments. If you can tell me without Googling it, I'll be amazed. And it's weird, though, because everybody dons these costumes, like these masks, and you have to tell somebody a riddle. And if they figure out what the riddle is, great. If you don't, then the person who doesn't guess has to give you something, or it's just a fun game or whatever. It's really not necessarily something that you need to dive into. You just need to know that there is a vicious killer targeting one particular person. For what reason? The reason's pretty goddamn obvious, actually. The one thing that this movie does not have is anything except a singular focus and really, really one-note characters, and some kills that are okay, I guess. And also does that Tubi thing that I hate, where it will just introduce plot twists within the last few minutes of the movie. There was one that came out last year, and a couple that came out in 2022. Perhaps even multiple ones that came out in 2023 as well. They would just do that. They would just heap shit on her. Oh, wait, no, we were going this direction, but wait, actually this happened. This is why this is going on, and this is why all this stuff ties back to this. It isn't this, it's this. I hate it. And I hated Guess Who. And it started out all right. I will say the acting isn't the worst in the world. The writing isn't the most egregious, but it is certainly not great. And the fact is, you can figure out where everything's going pretty quickly. Now, that doesn't mean that the movie could be the worst thing in the world. You actually could get some entertainment out of it. Except this movie doesn't have entertainment. I don't know what the fuck they were going for. They treat it way too seriously. And also the fact that, again, they have to, this is why this character and these characters are doing this stuff, even though it's fucking stupid. And sure, you could argue that maybe the whole thing ties back to something that was referenced very early in the movie. And, that gives it a really good story arc. No, it fucking doesn't. No, it doesn't. It gives us an obvious story arc. And all you can do is basically laugh. Laugh to hide the fact that, well, if you're like me, and I know I'm like me, and if I wasn't like me, who the fuck would I be? You would probably be not only pausing this movie a couple times, either take a bathroom break or want to run your head through a wall. You would also almost be falling asleep because this movie is aggressively boring. And it's, again, very obvious who the fucking killers are. And I can't help but harp on that because when you don't have any entertainment value, all you have left is a bit of shock. This movie doesn't have any shock. It's just bland and boring and really, really generic. And hopefully the cast can move on to bigger and better things. Because everybody just gets to basically have a few pieces of dialogue and then we move along on this. And yeah, there's nothing to it. Absolutely nothing to it. It just ends up being full stock one-note characters and whatever. And just a very obvious conclusion that just gets sillier in the third act. So I'm going to get into spoilers, just so you know. Spoilers will not take very long. That's your warning right there. Tubi is an ad-based streaming service. It's free. Check out this shit if you want. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. Okay. So, yeah, mummering. Mummering, mumbling. This movie actually could have been accused of mumbling. Maybe mopery. Check out the definition of mopery. They say it's a Christmas movie, but then it's a Halloween movie. Like, here's the thing. If it's a Christmas tradition, just whatever is referred to here, why is there no snow? Where the fuck are they? If it's a Halloween movie, it's somehow even dumber. And the fact that this is already likely going to be on my worst movies of the year list, and we are not even out of January, is saying something. So, Michael tells Caitlin while they're driving in this Honda Accord that has a tricky starter and everything. You got to give it some love and stick it in and do all this. You got to do this and then you can just keep on driving. I've had cars with sticky issues before and I get it. I totally get it. You probably should clean your key off and clean your ignition. The remix to ignition, hot and fresh out the kitchen. Probably should not reference that song. Let's get moving on with the review. This guy attacks Caitlin right after references are made. The people will wear masks and they will just pull off some pranks and do some riddles and stuff. And this guy steals her necklace. Okay, they get to the trailer park where you have to park seemingly half a mile away when you think that there would be parking there. But why would you park half a mile away? Almost like somebody's in on this whole goddamn thing. It's not the town that dreaded sundown, it's the town that dreaded boredom. I don't know how it could dread boredom, though, because boredom is seeping out of every pore and panel of this particular trailer park. So, one guy gets killed with shears. It turns out that the guy that stole the necklace actually is part of a drug-dealing duo there. The mother, Edith, who is not incognitus, buys drugs from these guys. But she's pissed. And then the family is talking to Caitlin. Well, my brother does have a lot of secrets. That's one thing I know about him. And the mother seems all nice and everything. It's very obvious that the mother's evil. There was this reference to a shutdown factory that knocked people out of a lot of jobs. The dad ended up taking his own life, unfortunately, losing his job. And then people will just wander into a random house, tell a riddle and everything, and not expect to get shot in a trailer park. And I figured out who it was quickly. I think everybody probably figured out who the fuck it was, and it was silly, and it somehow got sillier. Caitlin is the target. People keep trying to target her during all this stuff. One other guy gets killed. This one drunk, guy that was dressed like Santa earlier gets killed with like something to the head. This is generic and aggressively boring is what I wrote down. This is painfully generic. Chester, not A. Arthur, and a leather diaper. That is pretty weird. That is a deep cut Riff Tracks reference. Caitlin being stalked by random idiots. Their car is totally fucked. Somebody spray painted the window. And they have to find a way to take all that stuff off. It's obvious that the family knows that she's a rich girl. No. But don't worry, Michael is going to marry her because he loves her. Not because he's wrapped up in this plot. Why would you think that? There's no way that could be the thing. It's totally the goddamn thing. Because it's very obvious from the beginning. Yet somehow can't even focus on that without getting really goofy. The family is doing this. We see black spray paint on the hand of the sister's girlfriend. And then basically they drug Caitlin and Michael as well, or at least they drugged Caitlin. I think Michael pretended to be drugged. And they threaten the dad with, sending the daughter back piece by piece unless he pays them $1 million. I can't get $1 million in in, one night, but I can get you about 800,000. Okay. Not sure, but whatever. Let's go with that. So Michael ends up coming to the rescue and rescuing Caitlin and bashing this person's head in. It turns out that was the sister's girlfriend. And then the sister confronts. And the sister ends up saying, I think the sister's name is Sophia. I really don't give a shit, even though it's something against characters. The movie is just goddamn terrible. The sister ends up getting shot because Caitlin had a gun. And now Michael's freaking out because the sister had told, Caitlin all this stuff. And Michael knew a lot about you because he wanted to marry you for your money and everything. And now she's trying to get away from him. And then it becomes obvious that Michael was doing all this killing because these people were getting in the way of him hatching this plot. And then she runs him over. By the way, the mother has totally disappeared at this point. She runs him over with the spray-painted windshield car, which is hilarious. It was funny just before that he yells at her when she's running into the woods. You got nowhere to go. Actually, she has the entire woodsy area. She could visit Mr. Owl and he could probably help her. He would be a better written character than any of the people in here. And then the mother suddenly shows up with 5 minutes left after the dad arrives to pay off these people. And then they somehow manage to walk back to the goddamn parking, area, or the trailer park area, where there's this bonfire from this party earlier that's still burning. The dad has this briefcase. The daughter's being held with a knife to her goddamn throat by the mother. And then he sets down the briefcase. Caitlin, throws the mother off. The mother somehow ends up stabbing the dad while Caitlin throws the briefcase in the goddamn fire. The dad basically dies. Caitlin's freaking out. The mother had dived in to try and get the money. She catches on fire and runs and everything. And all that stuff that I mentioned about the mother showing up to when the dad got stabbed and the movie ended was about 4 minutes. I'm not kidding. 4 fucking minutes. Terrible. Eat shit, guess who? Eat shit. It's on Tubi if you want to check it out. You don't have to pay anything. Maybe you guys will get some entertainment out of it, but I sure as fuck didn't. Agree, disagree. It gets an F, by the way. It gets an F, just in case you couldn't fucking tell. Agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Renthlan. I'll see you soon.